In a world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes, an elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad.
Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films based on Sherlock Holmes. I'm John Campbell. Of course, with me as always, at least for this investigation, it's the Jones Boys. We've got Brendan Jones and Robin Jones.
Hey, John.
Yes.
If I could just take a couple of minutes.
Yes.
And I know my brother will back me on this because he's got a lot of energy to do this show. But here's the thing.
He's raring to go.
He's raring to go, and I'm so with his kind indulgence, I will say that giving me the opportunity to use this as a backdoor spin-off pilot for the new podcast entitled Even Stevens, which should be pronounced Even Stevens, a study of Robert and Toby Stevens' cinematic work. I think you giving me this opportunity is dynamite. People have been talking about Maggie Smith for way too long. She's had it way too easy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other part of that family.
Yeah.
The father and son,
I gotta say,
Robert and Toby Stevens.
I do enjoy both of those guys.
They're great.
I like the Stevens.
Really good.
Regardless of anything I'm about to say about this movie, I think he's good in it.
He's very good at it.
Yes.
And if you want to see him be a different side of what he brings to the cinema, I heavily encourage you to see the Maggie Smith starring epic Travels with My Aunt, where he plays the rogue that blows her off. Really good Robert Stevens performance.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And I like the way you jump right in to that whole bit without us acknowledging at all what it is we're talking about.
We're talking about 1970s The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, we cracked open the diary. We read all the naughtiness.
We sure did.
Or
at least
naughtiness.
John usually doesn't put just unadulterated erotica for us to study here at the IP Squad.
I mean, I will say
hardcore.
Brendan, you
slash fiction.
You are quick. Well, you are not slash fiction, but you are quick to mention when something feels fan fictiony. This is just Billy Wilder Sherlock fan fiction, right?
It is
on a massive scale. He got a studio to give him a lot of money to basically be like, "Ooh, what is my Sherlock Holmes?" And Billy Wilder had that kind of con.
He loved murder mysteries. He was a big Sherlock Holmes fan before he did it. He brought a lot of himself to things like Double Indemnity and Witness for the Prosecution. So it shouldn't really be
those stinkers. No, I love both of those movies.
The thing I'll say about this before John slits its throat and watches it bleed out on the floor is I will say this. I think, I mean, obviously, I have the absolute coolest of takes, which is everyone in the world knows Billy Wilder was a genius.
Yeah, I mean,
and has a nearly unparalleled filmography.
Oh, yeah.
And the people that sit there going like, and a lot of the reviews I read, even contemporary and modern stuff, is everyone is pretty much in agreement that this is not among his highlights.
No.
However, I'm glad he made it because it was personal for him. He wanted to make it. We're also seeing a very chopped up version of what he intended, but I will say any Billy Wilder is worth watching.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Kiss Me Stupid.
don't you just shut your dumb, stupid mouth?
I like
While
every.
I take
I like
45 minutes to talk about how great Kiss
I
is stupid.
and let me split the difference. I like it. It's all right.
Yeah, it's
Fuck both of you.
it's comedy misogyny that never. I can't get the misogyny
Can
part
I go
to
even
wash
hotter
off
take
of
on
that
you,
one.
Brendan? I kind of
Yeah.
like Buddy Buddy.
Oh,
I think it's
wow.
okay.
I kind of like Buddy Buddy.
Yeah,
too.
I don't
There
think
are
it's
parts
actually
I
I
like,
do.
but,
Yeah, no, I don't think it fully
it's
works.
an interesting use of Klaus Kinski.
Very much so.
Anything that the man made is worth watching.
Yes.
And generally speaking, I think everything that he made, I've never been not entertained. I've been disappointed a little bit, like,
Yeah,
oh, this
sure.
is. And this one I do think doesn't quite work.
No,
But I still enjoy watching it.
there are parts.
I don't think this
I'm
There are moments.
somebody who has the hot take that the Major and the Minor is not quite as good as the Martin and Lewis remake, which I really like a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Actually,
So,
I agree. I agree with that hot take.
So, in other words, I enjoyed the Private Life of Sherlock Holmes for all of its flaws, and
and I wanted to. I really, really wanted to love this, and I remembered enjoying it. I think, although who knows when I actually saw it. It's one of those things where it's like I'm pretty sure I saw this, and parts of it were familiar enough. But yeah, I agree with you, Brendan, that Billy Wilder is one of those guys that falls into a category of even if I don't love every movie he did. There are certain filmmakers that I always describe as it's a pleasure to watch him work. It is just
Right.
And there are moments even in this movie that I think are very flawed where I'm like, no, that's good. This guy
and
knows
this
how
is,
to
as you say, this is fan fiction.
big time.
So here he is, kind of just like rolling up the sleeves, going, "I get to do Sherlock Holmes." But what can I bring to it? The thing I really respect about this movie, and it's true of our episodes we've done so far, this is really obviously we watched Study in Terror. That's not Arthur Conan Doyle, but it's still trying to hew to the ideal, the model. And this is the first one where someone who is a huge fan, and you can see why this influenced like Moffat and Gaddis, is that this is a fan that's like, well, I don't want to just do my Sherlock story. What I want to do is explore Sherlock. I want to literally, because it's right there in the title.
Yeah.
And this is the first movie, possibly, that really does that, where it's like, well, why is he this way? Why is he the character that we love? Because Conan Doyle gives us little, sprinklings of his backstory. But here it's just about the emotional truth, possible emotional truth of Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
And the parts of the movie I think work best are when they're dealing with that.
The
parts that are actually a Sherlock mystery, I'm like, yeah, could we shove this out of the way?
No,
the stuff I like best is
100% agreement on that, Brad. And I think the major failing here, and the reason why I came around with a bad taste, is I think the mystery kind of stinks.
It's like,
no, you like it, Robin?
Okay. Yeah,
that's fair.
I guess I don't think I have the hot take here. I think I actually have the take of people who have reevaluated this film.
Oh, you and by the way, Kim Newman has called it the greatest Sherlock movie ever made, which I do think.
I wouldn't say that.
I love Kim Newman. That's a scalding hot opinion.
Huge.
Good
That's
Lord.
a hot take. I will, to my mind, and like I said, this is the second time I've watched it. I enjoy everything about it, and I can see what he's trying to do. And my perhaps naivete is that if we did have a true director's cut, we would have a Sherlock Holmes film on the level of a Lawrence of Arabia or a Dr. Zhivago, where it would be a roadshow version with an intermission, and everything that's introduced would pay off. Because when you watch this and you're wondering about, okay, why are we screwing around with zany antics with the Russian ballet? It does like basically it's what if the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, one of Conan Doyle's anthologies of just short stories, what if they were all interrelated? And what if they led to a final thing at the end that it all kind of comes
the
together.
structure as intended, which is what you're talking about. His intended structure of doing 4 little Sherlock Holmes mysteries that all interconnect, and it was the first cut was like 3.5 hours long or something.
Yes,
is like I do think that's clever, and that even though it would have been maybe a slog, I would have loved to have seen the whole thing, and we never will.
Right.
Too bad this wasn't the age of streaming television.
Yeah.
This as a series would have been absolutely
honestly,
great.
I do think the Moffat and Gatiss thing that you brought up,
well,
Brendan,
that's what Moffat and
is probably just what that didn't exist as a format, really.
No,
but that is what Wilder wanted to do. He just didn't know it was an option, right? I mean,
it was not an option for him. So instead, he saw it as you said, like something that probably would have had an intermission. And you'd be sitting there through different little stories, and then you go, "Oh, that actually tied together."
That's my big note here. Is one of my biggest problems with this movie is I think it's compromised because of that, because you can still feel a little bit of the episodic structure, but it's not designed fully like that, so it feels awkward in structure.
It
right?
does. It does.
Because it takes
that's one of the big problems.
Can watch this and go, as a 2-hour movie, just as a narrative, you're going, well, the first half hour, the movie doesn't begin for a half hour.
Yeah, all the stuff with the Russian ballet, other than setting up some personal inner dynamics.
A couple little hints. It also drops the thing about the and excuse the word because the word they use, the midget performers, is mentioned in that bit.
Yes, that's right.
But like the stuff about that stuff is dropped in. However, it feels very weird, and it feels tonally strange too. It's so much. I mean, the rest of the movie has humor, but the first part is very goofy.
The opening is zany.
But if the movie had 3 to 4 to 5 segments, you would have been like, okay, well then it has different feel.
By the way, Watson, gay panic.
Oh yeah,
big time.
100%.
That whole stuff is like, well, we'll have to get married. And then, of course, I mean, there's a lot of great IAL Diamond and Billy Wilder dialogue where it's like, well, then that people really will talk. He's like, no, you don't talking about we get married to women.
Well, I think you should probably take that flower up.
I did think it was weird when Watson just yelled, no homo at one point. I thought that was very strange.
Holmes, you're brilliant. No homo.
Yeah.
No, my God, you've done it again. I'm not going to kiss you, though.
Can we talk about? Let's talk about Robert Stevens, the aforementioned Robert Stevens, and Colin Blakely, our Holmes and Watson, which was a distinct choice on Wilder's part to eschew many bigger name actors who were either interested or considered for this. He chose 2 guys who solid British character actors, but certainly not names. And from a financial standpoint, probably a mistake in terms of
I mean, more than likely.
I mean, you certainly could have done decently with or done a little better.
Can I tell you who the names? I wanted to get to the names.
I know.
Yeah,
but the person he really wanted, he couldn't get.
What, you talk about Peter O'Toole?
That's exactly right.
Peter O'Toole. The original idea, his original vision was Peter O'Toole as Holmes and Peter Sellers as Watson, and that would have been. That would have been. I mean, that would have been one for the ages, right? Even with this exact same script and problems, I would be like, well, the pleasure. Once again, the pleasure of watching those guys work.
Yeah.
Interesting that Nicole Williamson was considered, who of course we will talk about later. This is the same thing we talk about. Stevens was considered for Study in Terror. I love there's the list of these guys, and it's just like, well, we'll get you next time, Nicole. Obviously, that guy should be Sherlock Holmes in something.
Yeah,
and he's a great fucking Sherlock. I will say, the other thing that this movie is like, when Newman is talking about this being the greatest, I'm like, 7% Solution does a lot of the stuff this movie does better, though, right? I mean, and that's not fair, but I just, in terms of diving into the character stuff, it's just a better constructed film. It's not, I don't need to compare and contrast, but they both similarly are, hey, has no one ever really dug down into these things that are mentioned as part of Sherlock? It's people
time
focus.
We look at it
because people focus on the mystery. They don't focus. I do really love the beginning of this movie when he's talking. that the movie directly addresses the metafiction of the world, where even Holmes is talking to Watson about you've made
the
me
Strand magazine and
you've made me sound like you make me sound like a drug addict when I only dabble in cocaine. And I love
it's not even 7% because I know you're diluting it.
I love that. That's my favorite piece of dialogue, where it's like that 5% solution of cocaine. Watson goes, "Isn't it 7?" He goes, "Oh, I know you've been diluting it for years." Like,
yeah, it's great.
And I just let it slide. And the whole thing about, and it's been pointed out in some of the fan reactions to these movies, like Study in Terror and stuff. He goes, "I'm not a violin virtuoso. I'm barely passable." There's that sort of stuff.
Yes.
I loved all that stuff. That's
and
the kind
also
of
the
stuff
bit at the very end where he has is talking to the spy lady.
Yeah.
And he
that was a big shot. No. That's part of the problem.
Where he goes, it's like, well, even the greatest, people make mistakes and have blunders. He goes, I'm just lucky that Dr. Watson's never written about mine.
Yeah.
So in other words, this is like that metafictional thing where he's saying, yeah, Sherlock was brilliant, but he's not the god of detection that is in the stories, because Watson's been beefing it up. And you see that here. He is, of course, Sherlock Holmes, but at the same time, he's not the classic one, and he makes some easy mistakes,
as the title
and it's like
says,
okay.
and it's right. This is the most human portrayal we've seen of him. This is the least superhero-y.
100%.
And I like that. I do like that. I mean, like I said, I like the portrayals.
You just didn't like everything else?
Well, I would
That's
say my dislike really is with an asterisk of, like, I do think we know it's compromised. And I do think it would the movie would flow better, at least make more sense, if it was presented in this sort of anthology format it was supposed to. I don't know that I would love that version, because I don't know that this thing being longer would necessarily be a great, But
I mean, I enjoy these people.
Yes.
I enjoy the actors. I would probably hang in there, and I would probably later go, that could have been trimmed.
But at least
I do wish there were more. And I there's always a part of you that when you hear about a compromised film, you just go, even if I didn't like it at the end, I really want to see what the director intended.
Especially because
Magnificent Ambersons, everybody.
Well,
Magnificent, they're going, and I'll never get it.
This thing really does, because you can feel where that's the thing is there's still enough of his original idea in here that it's kind of a frustrating watch on that level, right? Where I'm going like, oh man.
Just as a side note, I don't know if Magnificent Ambersons is the best example of that, because anybody who sees the truncated version, it's still a great film.
Great.
Yes, I would say what you might want to use as an example would be The Day the Clown Cried.
Oh,
because you want to see that, even though to your bone marrow, it will be a terrible film.
No, it's
but
probably
I
for
need it in my life.
No, yeah, we talk. It comes up a lot. It's I think all three of us are just morbidly fascinated by that movie.
Morbidly fascinated.
And I know if I saw it, two things I would go, it's bad, and it probably wouldn't live up to the hype at the same time too, right?
That's another thing.
Right, where you just go like, no movie can match what's in my head from the pieces I've seen of it.
I know, because all I ever think is, well, not only was he an insane egoist, but also
Lewis
heavily on drugs at the time.
Oh, what?
So
never.
Even if he had the talent to pull it off, I doubt that it would have been.
I guarantee that there'd be lots of weepy close-ups, and that's all.
I mean, look, I did see Roberto Benigni's Life is Beautiful, so I've seen. Anyway,
truth in advertising.
Okay. I want to talk about
Robert Stevens.
Robert Stevens. I think Robert Stevens is very good. I think Colin Blakely is good in moments.
He does what Wilder wanted him to do.
I think this is
and John.
This movie has go ahead.
To your take,
and
probably to my brothers too. My big complaint about it is Colin Blakely and basically Wilder's conception of what Watson could do, because that to me is one of the most inconsistent things
It's
in this
Big
inconsistent
time.
film, is that no, he plays up that the guy's a war veteran, he is a doctor, he examines things, he's the one that gives Holmes this medical information. All of this is played, and then also the buffoonery. And
it's a cake and eat it too
I'm
thing.
not saying a smart doctor cannot be a buffoon, but what I am saying is not these two versions of this guy.
He's the biggest tonal shift throughout the movie, because Holmes, even when it is kind of comedic and broad, he has still got this sort of composure
he's
and
always
wit about him.
I was going to say, he's always witty. He's never too, even when he's funnier in parts of the movie, it always comes off as this dry, sophisticated,
one thing I think
sides and things like that
people peg, and again, a lot of the big time reviewers were calling it melancholic. And actually that is the thing. That's why I keep saying the mystery stuff unfortunately takes center stage, whereas the private life stuff is the interesting stuff. And the fact that he is brilliant, but he's conflicted, he's tortured, he's hiding stuff, and the whole, and Billy Wilder said, it's like, I even pretty much lay it out, this is a closeted gay man, or perhaps bisexual, and to cover that's why he became this great detective. And when that isn't satisfying, when that is not able to tamp down the stuff he's got repressed, then the drugs. And it's like, basically, all this stuff is just hiding the fact that he's never been able to, I don't want to be corny, but has not been able to be his true self. So all of this stuff that we associate as Sherlock Holmes, all of his traits and quirks, is really at the core of it a sad man who is absolutely cut himself off. He did it himself from like real connections. And in this movie we get an Irene Adler stand-in, where it's a woman that almost breaks through, maybe not even romantically, but a woman that he respects and he's like drawn to. And then, of course, because Billy Wilder was like, I could have used Irene Adler, but I can't kill off Irene Adler.
No,
instead, this woman dies at the end, and we just see him retreat again. And you're like, wow, that stuff was where I wanted to go, was that emotional stuff.
However, I do
that 100%, and that's kind of why I enjoyed this film so much, was that
because he's doing some good stuff.
No, that's the strongest thread.
Really
that's the strongest thread by far. And I think Stevens' performance,
and Christopher Lee is awesome.
Oh, I mean,
God,
I
yes.
don't want to do it. Holy God!
He
walks in. It's a Telly Savalas level walk in and own the movie.
Go back to our patron series.
Yes.
He's in. What is he in? Like 2-3 scenes tops, because he's in it, and then he comes back then, and he owns the screen.
He owns the screen. It's like he's been unleashed, because basically they never let him talk as Dracula. Big mistake, Hammer. I want to talk to you guys.
That was always the weird choice. As much as I love
it was always
the
a
Hammer
strange
movies.
choice,
and as
because
it went
of
forward,
all the monsters, Dracula's a talky one.
And as it went forward, he talked less and less.
Less and less.
And you have Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, and you're not going to have them talk.
I will say that is why, and where this is going, Brendan. That is why I love the Satanic Rites of Dracula. The last one they did is the most supervillain Dracula, with tete-a-tete with Van Helsing.
He's full-on Lex Luthor.
It's the only time they ever let him be evil mastermind Dracula. And
so here,
I love it.
the intelligence of a Christopher Lee is there, and that's why he's great casting as Mycroft.
And he's also gentleman, secret agent Mycroft, right? Like.
And again, and you've got Christopher Lee, who knows what a man sounds like when you stab him.
However, they have fat shamed Mycroft yet again, because they will never. I mean, Morley was walking around. He's a big dude.
Yep.
But he's walking around. I always love the idea that Mycroft is the smarter brother, is unbelievable, but he will never leave his chair at the Diogenes Club.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
These movies
Nero
keep
Wolfe.
showing like he's Nero Wolfe.
Wolfe.
You know what's
Well, I
interesting
mean,
though is
they stole Nero Wolfe from Mycroft, but whatever.
I mean, okay,
yeah, I
right,
mean,
right.
but it's a good steal because I do love that character.
Yeah,
but,
it's a great character.
But you know what's interesting is I almost never see that Mycroft on screen.
No,
almost
I know.
never. Because I was going to say
they want him more involved. They want him
the
to
Moffat
show up
and
in
Gatiss.
Well, I
21D.
mean, Gaddis did it in a fat suit in the period
Yes.
hallucination.
Which, I mean, that
Yes,
whole
the
episode, I
Abominable
love that
Bride.
whole Christmas special where they were just like, we're going to give you, okay, here is
Yeah.
Victorian exactly as you think of it, Holmes, for a Christmas
Well, at
special.
the very beginning of the series, that was one of the great fake outs because when he first shows up,
You think
I'm thinking
it's
he's
Moriarty.
Moriarty,
yeah.
and that would have been great casting too.
Yeah.
And then Mycroft, and then they make literally make a joke about it. It's like you've lost some weight.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. But I mean, like, and then what? I mean, eventually, when you get to Stephen Fry in the Guy Ritchie movies, he's doing a different, just sort of eccentric guy. Yeah, I mean, Mycroft has been, and then I've never read. Have you guys read? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar writes Mycroft.
Yeah,
Holmes.
I didn't write. I mean,
I've never read them.
I haven't read it. I'm aware of it.
I keep meaning to read those because I just love that. That's what that guy does. Like,
he was a lifelong Holmes fan, just like
and
a lot
huge,
of people.
Yeah, and
a very smart man,
incredibly smart man.
Guys,
By the way, if just real quick, I'm a huge fan of
Greer's
his.
ex.
Yeah,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I'm a huge fan of his. I think it's. I want to say it's the Hollywood Reporter. He writes occasional think pieces and stuff about pop culture. They're brilliant. He's such a smart dude with great takes on stuff. And
smart.
the biggest detective story nerd. I just love that he is.
Which is why he's in Glass Onion.
He's in Glass Onion. He was a staff writer.
I loved that.
He was a staff writer on Veronica Mars, which I loved. Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. The Hulu season. Jabbar wrote some with Veronica Mars.
I watched every episode. Why did I not? Oh my god!
He's like a consulting producer.
Again, you bastard.
I just love that, but I mean, once again, but I just love the idea that super famous athlete is at his core one of us, right? Like he's just a big old nerd who happens to be
think
tall.
He's one of us because I think he's a literal genius. So therefore,
but I mean, just in terms of he's a big old nerd who just happened to be tall and very good at basketball,
right?
And is fucking hilarious in Airplane. He's so good in that. Anyway, all right, back
Roger
to
Murdoch.
Yeah,
I'm an airline pilot.
Hey man, you tell your dad to go out there and
you try to.
Yeah, you tell him, man. And then he's in his Laker uniform. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, sorry. Back to this movie. Yeah, I do. I think. Yeah, Blakely is a problem. It's not his fault, like you're saying. It is a thing of there are times when I was like, because we've struggled with pretty much every Watson we've seen so far. Because he often gets thrown under the bus and turned into this. And there are moments in this where I'm like, yes, that's the Watson I want to see. And then other times when you've got him drunkenly dancing with I'm like, oh shit.
Well, I mean,
yet Watson was a ladies' man.
He was, but he wasn't. But he wasn't a drunken buffoon of a ladies' man.
No.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you watch that sequence, how they're cutting back and forth, and I mean, I've seen a lot of Wilder. It's the same kind of thing you'd see in 1, 2, 3 or in Love in the Afternoon. He really has a mastery of the music of comedy where you can go, and obviously Some Like It Hot, where you go back and forth between music and zany.
Yes.
Well, also he likes to.
When you watch that, you know it's not Colin Blakely talked Wilder into this.
No.
He's very much doing
it's a
what Wilder
go-to
wanted
in the
to do.
apartment,
Yeah.
which
The
is
Apartment,
a masterful shift.
Not
in
only my
tone,
favorite
where
Wilder movie, but maybe in my
he's-
top 10 of all
he's-
time, The Apartment.
got Lemon dancing around just like he did in Some Like It Hot with a rose in his teeth.
And that's
he's
another
going back to the old beat because he's like da, and then finds a woman who's nearly dead in his apartment. I mean, you're like, he likes doing that juxtaposition thing, and he does it here, and you're like,
and Wilder loves music. Wilder supported himself as a journalist in Germany by being a gigolo, a dance partner for hire for women in society.
Diamond dance.
Yes. So this all,
you guys know that his first impulse was to make this as a musical, right?
Yeah.
His initial idea was he wanted to make a Sherlock Holmes musical, and then it ended up turning into this. But this did start life as Wilder wanting to turn this into a musical, which would have been interesting. That would have been a completely different movie.
Depends on who he would have gotten.
Who's the composer?
Well, you know who
Stephen Sondheim.
Well, okay. Now, if that had happened, that would have been the greatest thing to happen to film.
Oh, my God, Brendan. That would have been the greatest movie ever.
You guys, I don't know if you saw this in the trivia
God, you're right. This is a terrible film.
Yeah, because I just imagined a better one. That's always a great way to watch movies. I just came up with a better idea, so this movie sucks. Rex Harrison really, really, really wanted to play Sherlock Holmes in this. Very much pursued this. And probably too old by the time you get to 1970. Yeah. But there was a time that Rex Harrison would have made a kick-ass Sherlock Holmes, for sure.
Absolutely.
But I just love the idea that Rex Harrison apparently was just like, Billy, it's got to be me. And Billy Wilder's like, no.
I think it should be me, Billy.
George Saunders would have been a great Sherlock Holmes.
Well, Christopher Lee also a late addition because it's not George Saunders, but George Sanders was supposed to play Mycroft in this, but had to drop out due to health issues. And so Christopher Lee, a last-minute replacement. I will say, my favorite piece of trivia...
the shaved top, yep.
My favorite piece of trivia is when they were shooting at Loch Ness, and they
actually saw the beast.
No, Christopher Lee and Billy Wilder. This was an anecdote Lee told that when they were shooting at Loch Ness at dusk, and bats were circling overhead, and Billy Wilder turned to him and said, "You must feel quite at home here."
Jesus Christ.
And I'm just like, oh yeah, Billy Wilder, exactly the wit and charm that I want him to have. Yeah.
That is a giant of film that I would have loved to meet.
Should we also mention?
I would love to meet Billy.
Brendan, you've read that Cameron Crowe book, right? Where he interviews them for the whole book.
No, I've never read it.
So good, so very good.
I would put that on like a requirement for aspiring directors kind of text.
Yeah. He's just
right up there with my favorite is always is it just making films by Sidney Lumet? I think it is.
Yeah,
making film. I love that book so much where he's just like, keep a banana in your pocket because you don't know when you're gonna eat.
Right.
It's all I'm like, another guy who I just love so dearly. Obviously,
don't read Hitchcock Truffaut because
it's just anything with spices. Maybe
both of those guys suck.
Because you're gonna have to go up to actors real close to talk. The
idea that Lumet is literally just talking about like, here's what you do on a day to day.
Practical, right?
Yeah, it's all anyway. It was the thing. One of the I had the thing here about one of the segments was restored for the 1994 Laserdisc, which was a 12-minute sequence titled "The Dreadful Business of the Naked Honeymooners."
Yeah,
right.
I don't know what that is, but
they break it down. I think on the Wikipedia.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I see right here.
The deleted scenes include, and by the way, there was more to the prologue.
That's the part where I'm like, I don't know that would have ever.
That
been
wasn't
needed.
Necessary, but still, I like the way it opens with someone just cracking open the old, all of Watson's stuff.
It didn't have to be that it was Watson's grandson, like getting into that whole thing. That also was played by Colin Blakely.
Business of the Naked Honeymooners. Holmes and Watson travel back to England on an ocean liner, having solved a case for the Sultan in Constantinople. Holmes complains that anyone could have solved the case, even Watson. When a murder is discovered on board, Holmes tells Watson to attempt to solve the case himself. Holmes watches without saying anything as Watson proceeds to go to the wrong cabin where he finds a honeymooning couple. This sounds like wacky comedy. Passed out, drunk, naked, in bed. Mistaking them for the murder victims, Watson begins to deduce an elaborate solution based on the quote-unquote evidence he sees around him while Holmes listens, amused. When the lovers wake up, Holmes tells Watson he has gone to the wrong cabin, and Watson decides not to try to solve a case again. Only the film footage for the sequence
Yes.
survives. The audio is lost.
That's what we were talking about. That you can see it but not hear it, which is, I mean, it is always a sad thing, right? When you hear about basically anything before, even probably the 80s, maybe even the 90s. Really, they were just chucking
I don't understand
shit
is when you're
over there.
When you're talking about certain directors, though, even if this wasn't the biggest hit, it's still a Billy Wilder film.
Mm-hmm.
You still sit there going like, maybe people will be interested in this someday.
Nothing
just
was
put it over
preserved.
to the side.
Nothing
just
was
mark
preserved.
Private
Nothing.
Life, Sherlock Holmes,
No.
alternate takes.
Nobody was. I mean, it's the thing about we only have Monty Python because was it Eric Idle? I think it was. Just bought the tapes. They would have erased that shit. They would have been. Yeah. They didn't care. Nothing was precious to these people.
That Cleese always makes fun of Eric Idle's business sense, but Eric Idle kept that shit going.
Wait, John Cleese kind of being a dick about something? Never.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I tell you.
I love that about that. Yeah, that was always the case.
I wanted to mention the melancholic tone. We haven't talked about the score by Miklos Rosa, which I think is so beautiful and probably one of my favorite scores of film, if only for the sadder concerto that he gives that's supposed to be composed by Sherlock Holmes himself. For any time that Holmes is really revealing stuff that goes on for him. And I think that's why when Wilder says gay, it kind of makes me wonder if the completed Wilder cut would have been better or just longer, because I don't think he knows what he actually did or what he actually had with Robert Stevens, which is a guy who is bisexual or pansexual in that he has been with women. Yeah. It hasn't worked out for different reasons. And what he says about women is that it's messy or it's unpredictable. Not that it isn't a nausea or a revulsion or it's just not for me.
He has that thing about
every single time something has happened that makes him think, I don't know if this is going to work for me.
I will say, I'm not intending to read everything out of the Wikipedia, but there's a whole scene where he tells about it's The Adventure of the Dumbfounded Detective was the name of the sequence. And Holmes is traveling by train to Scotland with Gabrielle, and it was supposed to segue into a flashback where he told her about his student days at Oxford. Holmes had fallen in love with a beautiful girl from afar. After Holmes's crew team won a race against Cambridge, to celebrate, they pooled their money and held a lottery with the winner getting time with a prostitute. Holmes won, but was nervous because he did not want to sully his love for the girl he had seen. And when the prostitute turns around, he realizes she's the same girl. And Holmes tells Gabrielle that this episode taught him emotional involvement was not worth the risk for someone in his position. So, I mean, that's another very telling thing where it's just, he had, when he was young, an idealized version of this is what love should be. And then it's like, there's a two-facedness to it and it's too complicated and messy. Like you're saying, he's basically saying, I don't trust women. He doesn't. He goes, I like some women. I just can't trust them.
Right. And I think that's the key. I think that is the key to the entire film. I think that is what happens at the end when he is basically humiliated by his older brother.
Yes.
And
I like that he lets her believe that he did actually know from the start.
Right.
Because she's like, oh, you figured me out the second I walked in. He's like, yes,
not exactly. Yeah. Well, no, he
says not that early.
The thing about the relationship with Gabrielle that is meant to be this is, and I think some of the stuff that got cut would have helped with this is, it doesn't not work, but I'm missing something in it. I guess the idea of this being the Irene Adler equivalent of the one woman. It's like, it feels like I intellectually understand it, but I don't feel it in my heart. Although the last moment does really work of him being devastated that she's dead, but it does, and it adds to, if this had been an ongoing thing, and maybe there were more, but you do kind of go like, well, I mean, and this was, I read Roger Ebert's review from 1970, and I do kind of agree where he's just like, Jesus Christ, I've figured it out a half hour before Holmes has figured out what the deal with her is. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, maybe if there had been things like that, like him recounting that story to her, there would be more of that bond that would be like, oh, I see how he's being emotionally blinded to her obvious subterfuge.
A couple of things are go against selling that point, and I agree that doesn't come across so well, even though Billy Wilder's very good with suggestion here and there.
No, and it almost works. It's almost there, right? I mean, like, I see what he's trying to do.
I think the actress is bringing a lot to it.
The actress is not quite there,
and
also, like with Watson, what she's been given to do,
Genevieve
I
Page,
think, leaning on the lightness, because this is almost a comedy Sherlock Holmes movie.
There are times it expressly, in fact, I mean, I saw people talk about this being a spoof.
So in other words, there's not any real like gravitas to their bond. There tends not to be. He's watching her, impressed with certain things, but for the most time, because she's a female spy, she is doing wide-eyed like, why is that, do you think?
And that's the kind of stuff where you're like,
why the canaries?
That's
so you're
the
not
kind
like
of
going
stuff
like,
where
wow,
you're like,
she's
that's what I mean. That's the kind of stuff where you would think Holmes would see through that in a second.
Genius for genius. Well, yeah, with her flashing code with her umbrella, and he's like, what's that? She goes, oh, there was a bee. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It's Morse code. Come on, stop it. Yeah. Yes, that is a failure, but it, again, tribute to the fact it does kind of still land. That has a lot to do with some good writing and
some very good acting,
and some really good
and just the to talk about Wilder as both writer and director. The way that last scene is written, structured, blocked and filmed, it lands, even though I didn't particularly care about their relationship somehow. Still,
well, I would amend that for me, the last 3 scenes. So the revelation by Mycroft, and then Queen Victoria around.
anything with Mycroft, thumbs up,
and then the confrontation between Holmes and the spy, and then the final scene, because I feel like in those 3 scenes, you see what could have been, and ideally what would be a full director's cut, what Wilder was going for. Because there is the comedy, but there's also this undercurrent of
I think
sadness.
As I'm talking through this movie, I had a very negative reaction to watching it last night, but I think I am realizing, talking through it, it is more of a frustrated reaction that this is so compromised, and that I like a lot of pieces of what are happening, and then the stuff that doesn't fit together made me go, but I liked it when it was like this, but now why is it like that? And it's just because
and honestly, the last 3 scenes to me kind of sealed the opening narration of why this has been locked away so long, which I didn't really catch the first time I saw it. But it's not so much it's a scandal to the nation, which is kind of what it's implied.
Right.
It's a scandal to Holmes.
Right.
Yeah.
Holmes would not want any of this. And he's like, don't write this. Like Holmes would not want stuff that is cutting this close to the bone for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's talked about. That's the thing about people really bagging on the mystery of it, and I get that, is it's almost purposely anticlimactic in some ways, right? I mean, like the idea about like, and it doesn't.
The mystery is not, the ultimate mystery is not what happened to the midgets. As they say in the film.
There's no grand real. I mean, we get the reveal of what the Loch Ness monster.
Or what the Loch Ness monster is, or
but
what
there's
Mycroft has been up to. You can kind of figure it out from Jonah.
Most of these Holmes movies, he doesn't get in a sword fight. He doesn't chase a guy across it. He doesn't have the traditional sort of, rousing climax of one of them. I mean, when we get to 7% Solution, you get the awesome chase and fight on top of the train and stuff like that.
Right.
That I do feel like I understand why people might have been like, what the? Like, I could really see to a mass audience that came in for a Sherlock Holmes movie, this thing was not going to deliver on the goods that people might expect when they put their money down.
So
for
this
a
thing
film.
wasn't panned when it came out, and
No,
it's
it
never
was
really been.
No,
I mean,
I don't think it was a massive failure or anything.
No.
No, but it is. I believe, and I think I'm right about this.
Was particularly
the
successful.
film before this was it Irma la Douce or was it the
the Wilder?
the Wilder film.
It
before this.
might have been Irma la Douce. Hold on, let me click on his IMDb here.
I thought it was the Mathau Lemon thing about the.
Oh, it's the front.
lawyer.
It's the front page.
Oh,
no,
he did the front page?
Sorry.
The one
front page
before
is like
this
72.
Sorry. It's the fortune cookie.
The fortune cookie.
Yeah.
So if the one before this was the fortune cookie,
and
the one before that was Irma la Douce.
No, it was Kiss Me Stupid, then Irma la Douce. It was
okay.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is Kiss Me Stupid, Irma la Douce, fortune cookie, and then Sherlock Holmes. Then what you're seeing is the first massive flop for Billy Wilder. And this is truly, in his filmography, the beginning of the end
and this
for him.
I guess this was financially a failure for sure.
I will say the studio backed him because they spent money.
Well, up to a point. Then they made him cut
street. That entire 221B Baker Street was built. Every time you see all those bills, I'm like, Jesus.
Because he wanted this to be an epic, and so it has all that pageantry to it, and it's very handsomely made.
Right.
But I do think it is interesting that
he wanted it to be his Dr. Zhivago.
But I do think it's to your point, Brandon, it's interesting that they backed him up to a point. Then they are like, no, cut it down.
Yeah.
I'm sure at that point it just kept, they're like, holy crap, it doesn't matter how good Billy Wilder is, no one's going to sit there for almost 4 hours.
And I mean, actually,
it's like it doesn't matter how good Joseph Mankiewicz is. We've got to figure out how to end Cleopatra.
Yeah,
It's that level.
But I think there two things about that is they're probably not wrong. I'm not sure this thing would have become a big hit as a roadshow 3+ hour movie, but also it's severely compromised in a 2-hour format. So there was no winning for them at a certain point. I feel like as the studio, it's just
he wasn't going to do reshoots. He was just maybe some explanation in the voiceover, but that was about
It's surprisingly experimental or offbeat, at least left of center for sure. Of Wilder doing a genre movie, but not really, right? Like playing in a genre, but it's really more of a character drama. I mean,
and with Billy Wilder comedy, which he leans on a little too much here.
Well, I do think it's very interesting that his next movie is Avanti, so he immediately goes right back into
very
slapsticky,
right. And one of his big things was adapting very old pieces of content for film but bumping it up with what he brought to it. So Apartment is as much not just an answer to Brief Encounter, which is what he said for a long time. It's also an adaptation of something from the turn of the century. Obviously, Sherlock Holmes is something he loved a lot. Avanti is an adaptation of an early play.
Right.
On and on and on. So he tended to think in terms of these old plot structures and then bringing himself to it. Kiss Me Stupid was like
I think he lost some confidence, to tell you the truth, and so it was 100%. Comfort for him to I'm going to do the front page. It's like I'm going to get my standbys, and also Jack Lemmon was a comfort blanket where it's like, I stepped out of the Jack Lemmon zone. I need to get my boy back.
Can we say though?
Then we'll be fine.
Jack Lemmon's a comfort blanket to us all. The man was just
Jack Lemmon. I don't want to start on because I'll talk for 14 hours.
Do you need to hear my hot take on Jack Lemmon?
Sure.
You better have nothing bad to say about it.
I'm not the biggest.
What the? Okay. Now I'm enraged. Jack Lemmon, one of my all-time favorite actors.
All right. I'll tell you what I really
Jones
love him
the Fourth.
Yeah. I am shocked as a classic movie fan. How can you not love a Jack Lemmon?
and John, middle name redacted Campbell, hear me on this.
Yeah.
We
We don't release that to the public.
My
John
favorite Lemon performances are the ones where he is the most pathetic.
Well, he was
because
great doing it.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Glenn Ross,
of course.
No, he's. I mean, that's one of his
greatest.
greatest.
Those two films to me are his triumphs, and I do enjoy The Apartment quite a bit. It is very hard for me to buy them in a lot of stuff because I want to kill.
Wow! So
I call it. For me, he's the male Shelley Winters. Where
good day to you, sir.
Yeah. Well,
good day to you.
You know, we had a good run. It's sad we never finished this season of the show.
There's the door.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
right over there. There it is.
I will tell you another thing.
That
Shelley Winters to me is great in Lolita,
A
Place in the Sun, and Night of the Hunter, and that's it.
What
because
about American
I want
Tragedy?
to kill her, and then somebody kills her. That's why I said A Place in the Sun.
Yeah.
Because somebody ends up killing her, and I'm happy about that because I want to kill her myself.
Well, I'm not here to. I mean, Shelley Winters, whatever.
No, I mean, look,
I don't care about your take there, but Jack Lemmon, your take is so wrong that it. I can smell it from here, which is weird because I'm
so high up on my.
I'll watch him in the Mathau things.
I like pairing for the ages. That's the thing about when I said
I'm a bigger Mathau fan than I.
Here's my hot take.
I love them both.
Jimmy Stewart. Hack.
Yeah.
That guy, he's like, when I
overrated.
I just hear white noise when he shows up on screen.
No charm.
Brendan,
no charm.
Brendan, if Jack Lemmon had a murderer and After the Thin Man in him, I would like Jack Lemmon.
I don't think he did, and I don't think that's a problem though. I don't think Lemmon could have done that, but that's not a problem for me.
All right, well, let's get off this uncomfortable topic of Robin's
guys.
Now, can I want to bring up one thing from the Wikipedia that I found very interesting, which is a quote from Wilder, where he talks.
Is that the one that says Robin is full of shit?
Yeah, he says Robin Jones is full of shit. I just heard about this guy, Robin Jones.
Weird.
He says he doesn't like Jack Lemmon. He can go to hell. I mean, Billy Wilder would have said that because obviously. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to have that opinion and be such a. But I do think it's interesting to have that opinion and be such a Wilder fan, simply because Lemmon was obviously his guy, man. I mean,
Well, I like it. Well, Lemon's okay in those, but my favorites are the ones he does with Mathau.
Yeah, I mean those are great. I mean, look, but the Wilder quote about his original pitch for this was to expressly make Holmes a homosexual. And talks about that he regrets not pushing that harder, that he basically was like, I backed down to pressure. He says, I should have been more daring. He said, I have this theory. I wanted to have Holmes homosexual, not admit it to anyone, including maybe even himself. The burden of keeping it secret was the reason he took dope. By the way, I do like that being of the era he was. Billy Wilder would be like, he took dope.
He took dope.
He's taking dope.
He was doing the marijuana.
But I do think that's interesting because I will say, and this may even come up in the highs and lows, I can't remember because I read through a bunch of these, but I'm not mad about it in a way because I know Brendan's about it, but like, I say this because this is kind of a little bit my Brendan Jonesy thing is, and I do agree, this is not my issue with this movie exactly, but my issue with that Wilder theory and what a lot of readers have, which is Holmes is pretty much asexual in my mind, like, or at least so impossibly repressed about the sexuality, only like an Irene Adler. I don't look at him as homosexual, heterosexual as anything. Like, to me, it really is. So that's an interesting idea that Wilder thought his issues would be rooted in his sexuality.
I mean, the thing I like about that is that it's completely open to interpretation.
It certainly is.
Read. It's not really about source material. The source material mentions only the one woman that Sherlock, and doesn't even necessarily mean romantic.
No.
And there's nothing romantic about anything in the stories.
I think that's why I've always sort of read it, and other people have as well, as asexual is even his attraction to Irene Adler is a fascination, not I want to get down with that woman.
Right.
Yeah, but when she's played by Laura Pulver, anyone would.
Oh
that's all I'm
my
saying.
God!
That's all I'm saying.
By the way, have you got?
Speaking of which, guys, I hate to do this after I drop that Jack Lemmon bomb.
Yeah.
But I need to take a werewolf minute.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Brennan.
He's got to go punch a picture of Jack Lemmon somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. He actually has a picture of Jack Lemmon right above the urinal, and he just.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so back from trashing Jack Lemmon some more.
Jack Lemmon.
American Treasure, acting legend. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, we were talking about the.
Are you talking about Shell the Machine Levine?
Yeah, I will say, yeah. Oh my God, I mean that performance.
Okay, but Pacino
saying machine, yeah.
All right, so.
Don't even. Yeah, I can't get into Pacino. I'll go all day.
Are we recommending this movie? This is how we normally start to wrap up, right?
I mean,
briefly. All right, well, we'll get to the highs and lows, John. I want to just say,
I'll get to the box office. Yeah,
Bond corner.
Bond
corner.
Bond corner.
Son of Stevens, Toby Stevens, great actor.
Yes.
A lot of range.
Yep. I like Toby Stevens.
And Die Another Day.
Yes.
And if you can find this, he does a great Bond audio adaptation.
Robin, who you talking to? I've listened to all of them. They're amazing. They are so good. I can't recommend. And he's back doing them again. They've started up them again.
Oh, good, because they didn't do Casino Royale.
He's doing Casino Royale, right? I saw him post that he's recording Casino Royale right now. Brendan, if you haven't listened to those, the BBC Radio did adaptations of every Fleming novel. And
I don't have to do a damn thing.
They're amazing.
You better
though.
Do this.
Because
Toby
so
Stevens.
They're not doing them in sequence though.
No,
they didn't do them in sequence.
No, but Toby Stevens.
I think they in sequence of the movies actually.
I think it is closer to, at least. The Toby Stevens as Bond is great, but they get amazing people to come in and do. David Suchet comes in. I think he plays
Dr. No.
He plays Dr. No. Is it McKellen? I think is Goldfinger.
McKellen
Ian McKellen comes in and does Goldfinger.
The actress from True Blood is the fortune teller from Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
She's great.
I really like the actress from True Blood.
Was it Rutina Wesley?
Really
Wasn't that her name? Rutina Wesley?
I forget her name. She was Suki's friend.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wow.
Once again.
So she's Solitaire?
Yeah. Yes.
She's Solitaire. She's so good.
Great. I mean, they get really tons of great people to come in, and they're so well produced and well adapted and true to the Fleming source, but, condensed to a 2-hour format.
Do they keep Blofeld's I'll buy you a solid... steel,
a solid steel delicatessen. I will buy you a solid steel delicatessen.
No, Brendan, they don't.
Believe it or not, I hate to break to you, Brendan. That's not from Fleming.
That's not in the
what?
Brendan,
yes,
no.
I do agree. Toby and Robin, if you haven't, I would expect you. Toby Stevens also did a series of Philip Marlowe ones for the BBC Radio.
John.
Yeah.
Owning them. I already own them.
I figured.
Okay.
They're great too.
Corner.
They're great.
If you guys weren't aware,
and a Bond corner.
That they made a thing that's really good. You should have.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot.
But I already have it. Okay, let's move on.
I figured.
Then there were None remake on the BBC. Really good as the.
Yes.
This was fun. Oh, what? Oh, sorry, guys. Fire alarm in my building again. I have to go.
Toby Stevens also, I thought, very good on the what I thought was the pretty good Netflix Lost in Space remake.
Also, Toby Stevens. Also, Toby Stevens, very good as the guy who gave me my ticket when I was getting on the Max train the other day.
I'm not gonna. No, I didn't bring up
performance.
I didn't bring up the submarine movie he did with Gerard Butler. So you know.
Toby Stevens, awesome. When I asked him if I could have a little bit more syrup in my slushie, he was like, "No problem at all. Wow. No problem at all." I was like, "Wait a minute, Toby Stevens."
Brendan, do you know has Toby Stevens fallen on hard times that he works in a movie theater now?
Yeah. and apparently for the
Well,
match.
after his mother passed away, John,
Yeah.
he didn't get any of that money.
Yeah.
That sweet Downton Abbey money.
Yeah,
and so he had to.
Despite the fact we're describing the successful acting career, it seems like he's been very poor with his finances.
Very bad with his.
I want to
money.
talk.
Very
I want to, as always, give a snapshot of the because I don't have
yes.
as I do for later movies. A full top 200. So I don't know where this landed. This movie did not do well. Is the point I would say. So it's not in the top 10 here, but I'm going to give you the top 5 highest grossing movies of 1970. No surprise here. At number 1 was Paramount Pictures' Love Story. Love means never having to say you're sorry.
No,
never seeing that movie.
Have you never seen that movie, Robin?
I've seen it. Ray Milland. Milland is in it. I've seen Milland.
It's exactly what you think it is my review.
Yeah.
It's okay.
How
but
about
it hit the zeitgeist? That's all that matters.
here's a future season. In second, Airport. I do want to do the Airport movies at some point in a short form IP Squad season because there's like 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah, only if you include Airplane.
Yeah. And we would have to. How about one of the best? Robert Altman's MASH was in 3rd place.
There you go.
Weird to think about that movie being like a big
Mike
hit.
Nichols saw MASH come out, and he called the studio that he had made Catch-22 for, and he said, "I think we didn't do what we needed to do with this movie."
Oops.
Yeah.
Because he looked at MASH, he's like, "MASH was the movie I should have made." With Catch-22.
MASH is a masterpiece. I just think it's so interesting, once again, to think about, though, how different the film-going experience was in 1970, that a movie like MASH would be the 3rd highest-grossing film of the year. Because that movie wouldn't make it.
1970.
Yeah, that movie wouldn't make
But
an
the
impact now.
young people were driving the box office just in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and number 4 is Patton, which is...
Patton Oswalt did a movie in 1970?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Oh, my God. Was it a concert film? I mean, he's my age. Was he 5 when he did that?
Yeah, he's a
Good Lord.
little kid.
Thank you for coming, everybody. I was reading comics and the guy going,
Yeah.
You ever notice
this kid? Yeah.
that Batman's always like, pow, pow.
Pow, pow.
And then in 5th place, Disney's The Aristocats, of course. The Aristocats.
Natural all. It's the Aristocats.
Yeah, which is I remember that was one of my sister's favorites. Yeah.
Last thing Maurice Chevalier ever did before he died was
there. You go.
Yeah. From that.
So there's I don't once again I don't think this movie charted particularly. So, but let's get in some highs and lows. Highs and lows. Let's hit us with a high here. This comes to us from IMDb user Moonrack.
Okay.
Beat for that to sink in.
Wow.
Who titles?
You mean Ian Fleming's rejected title for Moonraker?
Yeah.
Just like the Moonrack. Anyway, because that had all the subtlety of Holly Goodhead as the woman in that. Anyway,
that takes up all the.
Yeah, subtle and atmospheric is the title of this review.
Oh.
As a Conan Doyle purist, I had not intended to watch this film when it first appeared on TV some years ago. Curiosity overcame me, and I switched it on at the sequence with Stevens and Genevieve Page on their bicycle. I was immediately fascinated, particularly by the music, which appears to have been specially written for this scene. Elsewhere in the film, the music is taken from the 1956 violin concerto, which unusually was not written as film music, which partially inspired Wilder to produce the film. The acting is excellent, particularly by Stevens, slightly less so by Blakely, although Watson is probably the most difficult. Doyle's, by the way, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone write Doylesian before. The most difficult Doylesian character to play. By the way, is that true? I mean, Watson has been, but is Watson the most difficult character to play? I feel like people
it depends on how they write him.
I feel like people write him poorly.
Easy to play. It's conceived.
Yeah.
The way it is. That's a different thing.
Yeah. Christopher Lee. Oh, I don't know about this. Christopher Lee gives an early display of his impeccable technique. He's well into his career at this point. He's just been around forever.
Yeah.
Also, we should point out, I should mention this because this is a big point in the trivia. One of the few movies he did without a hairpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Lee. And he looks fine. Yeah.
He's out bald and proud.
I thought that that was his real hair, and he shaved his head for the movie, but that's on me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Genevieve Page is perfect in her role, and the subtle nuances of her acting are a joy to behold. I don't quite agree. I think she's okay.
Yeah, she's okay.
There's also some brilliant casting. Stanley Holloway as a gravedigger is a witty reference to his playing of the part in Olivier's Hamlet. That flew by me, although his Scottish accent is not the most convincing. Anyway, it goes on to describe...
I agree.
Yeah,
John,
100%. There you go. Goes on to describe some of the other stuff. It is, of course, sad the significant parts of the film have been lost. Nevertheless, in its shortened form, it works well for cinema presentation. Now that domestic DVD players are common, a full-length version would be perfectly acceptable. Keep waiting. Since viewers would have control over which parts, if any, they might want to skip through. Meanwhile, the German spy episode in particular stands beautifully on its own. Wilder creates a wonderful feeling of the atmosphere of 1888. The outdoor scenes in Scotland also provide a nostalgic feeling for the year in which filming took place, presumably 1969 for the 1970 release. 10 out of 10 stars.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, good.
Yep.
I will say, the vitriol present in any of the one-star reviews is there's a lot of fuck you, Billy Wilder in here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but
I'll hashtag super shit.
Hashtag super shit. Robin, that one in particular bothers me.
That bothers me.
I know.
That bothers me the most.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. This comes to us from Philip Davies 31. Who titles his review "An Untypical Stinker from Billy Wilder." You've got to love that it starts with this.
Yeah.
The critic Stefan Canfer in Time magazine comes closest to explaining my own disappointment with this film, with a pastiche that is far more genuinely witty than Wilder's elephantine romp through the Holmes canon. See Rotten Tomatoes. Most critics seem unduly kind. I like that he doesn't actually state what the review is. He just goes, look it up on Rotten Tomatoes. You'll agree.
Yeah, I'm not going to do your work for you.
Yeah, figure it out. Read it.
Buddy.
Most critics seem unduly kind to this awful, overstuffed, lumbering, misfiring disaster, probably out of respect for the old master's earlier sharp comedies. The film is just painful to endure and really doesn't add up to anything but aimless parody, less an effective knowing satire and more a simple-minded knockabout insult to this literary icon, whom Wilder is alleged to have loved. Well, you could have fooled me.
Whoa.
This is frankly a hideous, overripe and altogether tacky mess. I've never seen so much money up there on screen and the elaborate sets, not to mention the classy score, just to make such a camp and insubstantial confection. Ken Russell seldom got a pass for this sort of thing, but he at least was unfailingly original, witty, and stimulating. From the galumphing and interminable opening sequence, no better than a vulgar skit, but much longer. The film proceeds on its ponderous way, an overlong and woefully misbegotten imposition on our patience, and thank God the studio did cut it to ease our pain. In no way is this stupid, lumpen pudding the neglected Wilder masterpiece so many critics inexplicably choose to claim it is. You only have to look at the woefully macabre-ish mathematics.
Yeah, you would just say macabre. I don't know why you would say macabre-ish. But
macabre-ish, yeah, By the way, this thing feels like it was written with a thesaurus next to it. The big words here.
It is, but he's managed to use the word inexplicably and woeful about 1,000 too many times.
Well, here you go. You only have to look at the woefully macabre-ish mathematics of the budget and contrast that astronomical figure with the paltry worldwide takings of this stinker to appreciate that cinema audiences can at times be sharp in their artistic judgment. Of course, money isn't everything, but that grotesque financial disparity certainly does not represent Mr. Macabre's famous formula for happiness. It really is a shocking indictment of Wilder's lapse of professionalism in this instance, and by this time he really was too old to be able to use the misunderstood artist excuse. His earlier fine achievements unfortunately did not prevent him from perpetrating what is an untypical disaster in an otherwise very distinguished career. It's embarrassing. Wow. What a pity. Wow. Still, he did have a few good films left in him afterwards to help expunge the memory of this abortion. 1 out of 10 stars.
Oh my God!
Here's the thing, John.
Yeah.
Was there an address given? Because I'm going to find that
I will
person
forward
and
it
give
to
them
you.
a hug. That person needs.
It really is just like, hey,
Sherlock needed just a hug.
It really is just hey, is everything okay at home, pal?
Is everything all right?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Like I think Billy Wilder made that movie just to hurt you.
I gotta say, because like. I think this is a severely flawed movie, but
yeah,
part of my frustration with it is it does show promise and, of course, brilliant decisions from Wilder here and there, we know it's cut apart, but like, Jesus, buddy.
Yeah,
I mean that's all.
I'm still recommending it.
I am also recommending it, but I understand that now my opinions on anything is for naught because you guys have heard me talk shit about Jack Lemmon.
Yeah, it's true. From here on out, everything you say after this,
I'd say do yourself a favor, Robin, and stop bringing that up. This is making me mad.
Everything you say from now on, I will just add this coming from the guy who doesn't like Jack Lemmon.
Pretty much.
Brennan yelled off mic to no one, someone get me my will and an eraser.
I guess Robin's not getting any of these action figures.
Here's my hot take. Darren McGavin, bullshit.
Oh, all right. And now lines have been crossed.
Joke.
No, of course. Go once again. Hey, that's a great segue into by the way, my
yeah.
No, I can't fully recommend. I just think it's too flawed. I really do think. Watch if you're a Holmes completist. Know that it's a frustrating experience is what I would say. I wouldn't say to just if you want to get a taste of Sherlock Holmes movies, I wouldn't start here by any means. This really is like among them. Watch it as an interesting curiosity. It's also firmly in that category of. It's only a taste of what the director was envisioning, so it's kind of a what-if movie in some ways, too. So I do think...
Holmes, though.
No, no Holmes, though. So that's that. But Brandon...
I'm not saying I love the movie. I wouldn't kiss it.
Yeah, I will say...
No Holmes, though.
No Holmes, though, man.
Hashtag no Holmes, though.
Watson, stop saying that. But Brendan, to your point, I'm glad you mentioned Darren McGavin, because you know that if you subscribe to our Patreon page, you can hear Brendan Jones and I talk about every episode of Kolchak the Night Stalker on our series Nights
and
Talking.
The only reason why I'm not on it is
it.
that they knew somehow I would work in my hatred of certain Jack Lemmon performances into a Kolchak.
I don't even know how he got there, but he did.
How he got there, Jesus.
Yeah, this guy is just. And another thing I hate about Jack Lemmon.
Let's move off that.
Anyway, though, you're gonna
worthy. Their takes are worthy.
Yeah, spoiler. We recognize its faults, but love it so much. Is what I would say. Is what our take in general, and that is. So
you made me think about that when you were talking about Kim Newman, because he does one of the or two, I think, commentary.
He does a couple of the commentaries.
Yes. By the way, that Kino Lorber Blu-ray, that's nice. Oh, that is
same
nice
for the TV movies.
Very
the fact that they beautifully restored and filled with special featers, all of that. That's
so gorgeous.
That's a good Kolchak. So go over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup and punchupent. You also get you can get the both the Peter Cushing and Vincent Price miniseries that the three of us did on there as well. Lots of content over there. Check that out. Also, make sure to look for us on YouTube, youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications so you never miss an episode of any of our shows. All right, next week, fellas. We've talked a lot about Sherlock Holmes, obviously.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
we
it's
have.
time. Yeah. It's about time that we recognize the true genius, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is obviously, yes. What's that, Robin?
Are you talking about someone who might be related to Sherlock
I'm talking
Holmes?
about somebody who might be related and maybe even smarter than Sherlock Holmes. I'm talking about next week we will be watching The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother.
John, I believe you mean sheer luck.
I love this movie, of course, because I love Gene. I love
Gene Wilder.
I just love Gene Wilder
all day, every day.
And the fact that I
don't know, Robin, you got a hot take about Gene Wilder?
Overrated.
Fuck that guy.
Hack.
He's a hack. He had 3 moves.
Gilda Radner could have done better.
So much better.
Right, he had 3 moves, and we saw them all in Willy Wonka. What more do you need to know about this
just
guy?
above title, you have Gene Wilder, Madeline Kahn, and Marty Feldman. Sold.
Done.
Sold.
Done.
Sold. Even the weaker Wilder movies, which I don't think this is one of. I like this one. I enjoy just because I love the man.
Just a banger of a cast, including the mighty Leo McKern.
Yes.
I think Rory Kinnear's father.
Rory Kinnear is in it. The great Dom DeLuise.
And a voice cameo from Mel Brooks. And
one thing we don't need to do, though, is just list the entire cast. Can we wrap up, for God's sake?
You don't want me to talk that Lobot's in it? Because he is.
Hey, Brendan, you know he's not in this? That weakling, that coward, that pathetic Jack Lemmon of all people. Thank God he's not in this.
Well, we'll have to carry this conversation on next week. But until then, the case file is closed.